So in this week's Parsha, we learn about Balaam and Balak. Balak is afraid of the Jewish people. He wants them out. He wants to destroy them. And he hires the services of Balaam. Balaam was a Navi. His specialty was klolos. He had a diploma in cursing. And anyone that wanted to fight his enemies and destroy them hired the services of Balaam. And Balak does the same. And Balaam comes to curse. He opens his mouth and the most beautiful words come out. Hundreds of thousands of Jews start their Avodas Hashem every day in the morning with these beautiful psukim. And the Gemara said that Kufay Yomid Beis, one of the Pshotim, Miberchoisav Shaloi Se Rosha, Atolomid Mahayo Beliboy, Bikesh Loy Meshaloi Yubehem Boteknesius Abotem Midroshois. And a Kodesh Baruch Hu Hoifech Kloler Brocha, and then he says, Matoivo, Oyolecho Yankov Mishkanesecho Yisroel. And I wonder, Balak doesn't have an anti-from agenda. Balak has nothing. He doesn't have a problem with the yeshivas and the koilelim. He has a problem with the Jewish people, as a nation. So what does Balaam want? My understanding is Balaam was a prophet, and he knows what all the other anti-Semites knew throughout the ages. All those that thought they're coming up with a final solution to the Jewish problem. I don't know whether they understood this in a clear way. But it is a historical fact that all those tyrants, cruel dictators that wanted to destroy the Jewish people first fought their emunah, their mitzvahs, and their sforim. When I visited Berlin years ago, I was taken to some central plaza in the city, and there's a big plaque. In 1936, I think it was. At this site, tens of thousands of Jewish books and Sifrei Torah were burned. And that was years before Kristallnacht, years before the first Jew was murdered in Germany. Before killing Jews, they burned their books. And it happened many times throughout history. In Avodah Zorah Daf Yud Ches B'Shas HaChorban, we read the story of Reb Chanina ben Teradyon. Ekifuhu B'Sifrei Torah V'Hetzitu Behem Et HaUr. Reb Chanina ben Teradyon was burned wrapped in a Sefer Torah. I told this story many times. My late father, Zecher Tzaddik Levrocha, first met my great Rebbe, the Tzan's Kloisenberger Rebbe. Right behind my back is a drawing. One of my Talmidim drew this picture of the Kloisenberger Rebbe, and it's very precious to me. So my father and his family arrived in Auschwitz, first day Shavuos, 1944, that very same day. Zayda and Bubby, father, mother, 5 of his siblings went up in smoke in the chimneys of Auschwitz. The Kloisenberger Rebbe arrived one day later. And my father approached him and expressed his gratitude and his privilege, his chus, that he will be able to be Shamish the Rebbe and get close to him. And the great tzaddik was a malach. Yesterday, I said some divrei hesped and divrei sekor on the Rebbe. Frowned down on him and he said, Bocha, the mindset that Rebbe Salfin said, the Guni Shalfin. If you think it's going to do you any good being close to me, it ain't going to do you any good. To which my father responded, of course it's going to do me good. We could talk on learning. And the Rebbe was taken aback and surprised, and he said, Bocher, you're in Auschwitz and you want to talk and learning. To which my father responded, of course I want to talk and learning, because otherwise, how will we prevail? How will we survive? The Rebbe was moved. He hugged them. And talk and learning they did for the next 13 months. And talk and learning they did for the next 50 years. They talked and learning. What Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai understood 2,000 years ago, when he pleaded with Aspasianus and Liyavna v'Chachomeo, because he knows nothing else could guarantee the future of Klal Yisrael. My father, as a young boy, intuitively felt and understood the same. If we won't talk and learning, how will we prevail? And we've been talking and learning for thousands of years. It's the only thing we can do together. So going back 100, 200, 300 years, if a Jew from Amsterdam would meet a Jew from Poland, what could they do together? If a Yemenite Jew would meet an American Jew, would they understand each other? What did they have in common? They didn't speak the same language. They didn't share the same culture. Their manners were totally different one from another. They would feel awkward sitting at the same table and eating. Not even their complexion was the same. Different skin color. The only thing they had in common, and the only thing they could do together, is talk and learning. The only things they shared is the Bavli and the Yerushalmi, the Yud Gimel Likra, the Rambam and the Shulchan Aruch. And they talked and learning. And they corresponded. And shuvas flew from one end of the world to the other. Yes, from Amsterdam to Poland, from America to Yemen. Talk and learning they did. And that is what kept us going. So Bilam understands, yes, I know what is expected of me. I am supposed to curse and destroy the people. There's no way to get there as long as they have Bota Knesias and Bota Midrashis. As long as the Jew fulfills his destiny, which is expressed in the very first posuk in Torah's Moshe Bereshis, Boro Elokim, Bishvil Torah Shenikra Bishvil Yisrael Shenikra. As long as Yisrael go together with Torah, we are eternal, like the sun and the moon, like the earth itself, like the world. So Bilam says, we got to start off. And he opens his mouth. And those beautiful psukim came out. So I once again turn to my dear friends, and this time I'm speaking more to my friends in Israel than in America, but to the entire world. Baruch Hashem, we open shuls, we open yeshivas. It's happening in Israel. We're opening and we're closing. Tens of yeshivas closed down the past 2 weeks. Hundreds of yeshiva boys and avreichim came down with corona. We're opening yeshivas in order to close them down again. So Baruch Hashem, most of the people that were infected are young and healthy. But if thousands of people will fall ill, there is no way in the world we could protect the elderly and the feeble and the ill. And there already is a rise in seriously ill cases. We were so happy to open yeshivas. We don't want to close them down. And it's not a Gzeres Shamayim. We could have avoided this. We could have prevented this. A Beis Medrash is not necessarily a dangerous place if you follow the rules. If each and every one of those yeshiva bocher would wear a mask all the time and distance themselves one from the other, we wouldn't So once again, and I've done this 1,000 times in the past few months, I just beg and plead and cry to all of you. Take care. Don't leave your home without a mask. Don't take it off in shul or in yeshiva. Disinfect your hands. Just follow the rules. And there will be no need to close yeshivas and kollalim and boter medrash. Ki heim chayenu v'oirach yomeinu uvehem nehege yoyim v'laylo. We should be zeichel to learn. We should be zeichel to teach. Lahagdol Torah ladiro lekadei shem shemayim. Have a beautiful Shabbos, and we should zeichel b'korah b'yameinu. B'yeshua seilamim b'simchas olam al reishon b'mheiro v'yomeinu